Hello, welcome. I'm Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. I'm so glad you're here. If you aren't familiar with who I am, you've dropped in on a good day. I am a style and mindset coach, and I can help you go from a place where you are stuck and overwhelmed and frustrated and not having all that much fun getting dressed to a place where you have simplified your style and created a wardrobe that you absolutely love wearing. If you would like my help, I do work one-on-one with women, both online and in person, and style therapy is the way we do that. There is a link down below. You can check that out. There's a link to my calendar. You can book a consult call. I can answer all your questions, and we can see if we're a good fit. So today, if you've never been here before, welcome, welcome. And if you are someone who frequents here regularly, thank you and welcome back. Today is my 100th episode. 100. I have made 100 YouTube videos. For a long-time stay-at-home mom with very little tech savvy, it is kind of an enormous milestone that I have made 100 YouTube videos and shared them with the world. And so I really appreciate you tuning in, because this started as just sort of an accountability tool and a desire to help other people who were decluttering their homes and tidying their lives and simplifying using the KonMari method. I watched a lot of videos on how to use the life-changing magic of tidying up and how to declutter and edit your home. And this was in about 2014, I guess. And my one son said, "Mom, you could make videos that are like these videos, and you could share your story, and you could help other people do the decluttering and make it easier for them." And so I thought, why not? I might as well. And so he was very, very helpful initially, and has been over the years one of my biggest cheerleaders and certainly my biggest tech support. Thank you, Peter. And so I made that first video, and then it just sort of spiraled from there. And now my channel is mostly style related, with the exception of things like today, where I'm going to do something a little different. I don't really talk about decluttering and tidying with regards to the whole home anymore. I focus mostly on helping you build a wardrobe that you absolutely love wearing, and helping you learn to get dressed using the guide of really truly feeling amazing in your clothing, because when you feel amazing in your clothing, you look amazing in your clothing. And so today I am going to do something I've never done before. Over the years, I have had people ask, why don't you do a tag video? Why don't you answer? And I didn't even really know what that was at the time. I still don't really understand the word tag in relation to the questions that are asked on things like YouTube and Instagram. But basically it is a video where you have a whole bunch of random questions and you just answer those random questions. And so today I'm going to answer 100 questions that are just random questions to help you know me a little bit better outside of the world of style. You welcome me into your world and into your lives and into your homes, onto your phones once a week or whenever you tune in. And you know me as someone who wears stripes and loves navy blue and believes in simple wardrobes and likes to travel and lives in Colorado and all of that. But you don't maybe know, some of the more unusual things about me, or some of the things that aren't things that I share here. So today I'm just going to run down a list of 100 questions, and I'm going to answer them pretty rapid fire so that this doesn't turn into a 2-hour video. And I might give a little bit of a story about one or two that maybe need a little explanation, but for the most part, I'm just going to ask the question and give my answer. And I mentioned to my husband last night that maybe we could do a couples tag. He, of course, had no idea what that was. I was sharing questions that might be asked in such a thing, and one of them that I mentioned was, who has better taste in music? He, of course, assured me that we know the answer to that, meaning it is him. It actually is him, but don't tell him that I said so. So he and I are not going to do a tag anytime in the future. Maybe I could convince him for episode 250 or 200 or something like that. But I am going to run through the 100 questions now. So if you have any questions about the things that I answer here, or, have any comments or thoughts, feel free to drop them below. I want to say an enormous thank you to the subscribers and those of you who tune in randomly or occasionally or always. I love this community. I had no idea how fun it was going to be to create these friendships in the comments below, and to really understand kind of what drives you and where you live and what you wear and what you love and what you don't love with regards to your wardrobes and your style and shopping and all of that. It is really, truly, when the task of answering YouTube comments pops up on my calendar, I'm always thrilled to get into the comments and answer, because I love reading your comments and I love responding. I love the rapport here. So I really thank you. Obviously, I would not be making 100 videos if no one was watching them. So I appreciate your tuning in. Thank you, thank you. And if there are things you'd like to see moving forward, topics or questions or whatever, please ask me. Just comment below or send me an email at Kristen. What is my email? Kristen@KristenKaneStyle.com. Send me an email and just say, hey, would you cover this or would you cover these things? I would be happy to. I love specifically answering what you're asking about. So, okay, that's it. Let's get into the questions, or this is going to be a 2-hour video. 100th episode. Pretty cool. Okay. Number 1, what's your middle name? Elizabeth. Number 2, where did you grow up? On the East Coast, outside of Philadelphia. I was born in Ohio, but then grew up outside of Philadelphia. Number 3, who were your childhood idols? Charlie's Angels. Number 4, how many pairs of shoes do you own? I believe I own about 20, including, let's say 25, including running shoes and like flip-flops that I would wear for a pedicure or to the beach. Let's see. Number 5, what did you want to be when you were a kid? I don't know that I gave this a lot of thought when I was a kid. Like, I didn't want to be a ballerina. I didn't want to be, I don't know that I really, as a kid, had a good answer for this. Once I got a little bit older, I remember wanting to be the editor of French Vogue. So that was sort of the first thing that I remember thinking, oh, what a cool job that would be to be the editor of French Vogue. I was probably in late high school, just before college, as I was becoming a Francophile. So that would be my answer. Number 6, what was your favorite class in school? History, or kind of world cultures, things to do with people and other cultures and other countries, and how and the history of what happened in those countries, and also how people lived in modern day. But I guess history would be my answer. Who was your favorite teacher in school? Mr. Sprague. What do you like about yourself? This is number 8. What do you like about yourself? My curiosity and my interest and ability in researching things. I sometimes, to my fault, collect more information than is needed before I actually take action, but I love to research and I love to collect information. Number 9, what are your parents' occupations? So my dad is no longer alive and my mom is retired, but my parents were teachers or were in some way in academia pretty much my whole life. My mom owned a preschool in Battery Park City in Lower Manhattan, and she was actually there when 9/11 happened. And my dad was a history teacher and a coach before I was born, and then he worked in school development, in fundraising and the development offices for different schools and universities. 10. Which of your parents do you resemble? Both. Like I said, my dad's no longer alive, but when my parents were alive, if you put me next to my mom, I look exactly like my mom. And if you put me next to my dad, I look exactly like my dad. Number 11, when was the last time you cried? Last night. Number 12, what is your favorite color? My favorite color is turquoise, like oceany, deep, tropical ocean water turquoise. I don't wear that color really in my clothing, and I don't really have much of that color in my home in decorating. Obviously, this picture behind me has that vibe. That kind of deep oceany turquoise is my favorite color. What is your favorite beverage? Champagne, maybe even pink champagne. What is one thing on your bucket list? Seeing the South Pacific. Somewhere in the South Pacific where I can up close and personal see that turquoise blue oceany color. What is your all-time favorite song? My all-time favorite song is Led Zeppelin, Fool in the Rain. And if you follow me on Instagram, you maybe saw that in September, we saw Dave Matthews. I saw Dave Matthews Band for the first time. And I had heard that over the summer, or for the last little bit, they had been playing Fool in the Rain as part of their set. And they did. And it actually was a little drizzly. And it was one of the musical highlights of my entire life to hear Dave Matthews Band play Fool in the Rain. 6, which is your favorite movie? I'm going to make a little side comment here. Did I say 6? We're on 16. 16, and I've got a long way to go, so I need to stop side commenting, but I'm going to add a little side comment, and you will learn the perfectionist side of me as I answer these, because one of the perfectionist tendencies that I have learned thanks to Sam Laura Brown and Perfectionist Getting Shit Done, which is an amazing group coaching program. And if you're not involved and you're a perfectionist, you should check it out. No affiliation, no sponsorship. It has just changed my life. And that is that perfectionists don't like to make decisions. We like to have all the options. And so for some of these questions, I really don't have one answer. So I'm going to give more than one answer because it's my 100th episode and I can do what I want. So number 16, what is your favorite movie? If I have to give one answer, it is Pretty Woman. Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. If I see it pop up on the TV, I can watch it pretty much every single day. So Pretty Woman. I would also say that French Kiss, and with Kevin Kline and Meg Ryan, and The Holiday. Those, I would say, are my top 3 favorites. I can always watch them and always be in a good mood as a result. Number 17, what's your favorite book? Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer is probably my favorite adult book. And my favorite kid book that I can still read now and love it is called Mandy, and it's by Julie Andrews, and it is amazing. So if you've never read Mandy by Julie Andrews, you should read it. It's good. Number 18, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Haagen-Dazs chocolate chip. Number 19, who's your favorite actor? Julia Roberts. I love watching her. I'll watch her in pretty much anything. Meryl Streep, I would say, also one of my favorites. Number 20, do you have any siblings? Yes, I have 3. I have a sister who I was raised with, and she is 4 years younger. And then I have a brother and a sister who have been part of my family, thanks to an extended family marriage situation. And they have been, we've all been part of a family for over 30 years. So I have, yes, 2 sisters and a brother. Number 21, what's your favorite perfume? I really don't wear perfume because it often gives me a headache. So I'm better with essential oils, although right this minute I'm not even wearing any essential oils regularly. I love worn-in fragrance on other women, but I don't really have one I love right now. I really like Chanel No. 19, and if I have to give an answer or I had to wear a perfume today, it would be Chanel No. 19. Number 22, what are the names of your children? Greta Louise and Peter William and Henry Matthew. Do you play any sports? No, I do Pilates and I do yoga and I run a very little bit, but I do not play any sport. Number 24, what is your favorite animal? Giraffe. Number 25, do you have any pets? Right now, no. We have had dogs at different times, but I do not have a pet, and gerbils and hamsters and those kind of things, and a guinea pig named Gus a long time ago, but no pets right now. Number 26, which is your favorite vacation destination? Tropical beach. With palm trees. Like, I like the beach, but if it doesn't have palm trees, it's not as enticing to me as it is with palm trees. And that turquoise water I mentioned. Number 27, what makes your life better? Managing my mind. Continuing to learn how to manage my mind and how to choose my thoughts in order to affect, how I show up. Number 28, did you enjoy school? Yes, I enjoyed school. I enjoyed it more from a social standpoint than an academic standpoint. Although I liked learning, I liked to research even back then, but I enjoyed the social aspect and the friends more than I actually enjoyed the academics. Number 29, do you have a school memory? Do you have a favorite school memory? In high school, this has nothing to do with school really, except that we were cutting school. In high school, my close friends and I loved to leave school when it started to get warm and sunny in the spring in Pennsylvania and just sit outside and get a tan, baby oil and iodine and all that nonsense. And so one day we cut school and we went to my friend Lisa's house, and she had a trampoline. And so we used the trampoline sort of as our beach location and set up on the trampoline to get a suntan. And I remember there maybe were some daiquiris, and her mom came home from work for lunch and found us, and we got in some trouble. Sorry, Ronnie. Okay, next, number 30. What is your fantasy shopping destination? Paris, hands down. If you said, Kristen, you can go anywhere you want this afternoon and shop with an unlimited budget, it would be Paris. And it would be all the high-end Paris streets with amazing shopping. And it would also be the little neighborhoods, like Le Marais and different spots where there are really cool boutiques and that sort of thing. Paris, definitely. Number 31. which do you prefer, a Mac or a PC? I use a Mac. I actually love my Mac. I've only had it about 3 years. I was PC before that. I don't think I would go back. I love my Mac. 32, have you ever been out of the country? Yes, I've been out of the country. The first time, well, I first went out of the country when I was a little kid because my grandparents lived in Niagara Falls, New York. And so we would go to Canada. We would cross the border and go to Canada. And so I was out of the country as a kid early. And then my first trip on an airplane out of the country was to the UK. I went to Wales and to London with my dad, who had to be there on work. Actually, I flew over alone as a third grader, and it still kind of boggles my mind that my parents put me on an airplane. I mean, the stewardesses were watching out for me, but I flew alone to London and met my dad in Heathrow. So that was the first time I traveled abroad on an airplane. And then the most recent time I traveled abroad was a couple weeks ago. I was in Norway. So yes, I love actually to leave the country. I love living in the United States, but I also love to travel. Next question, 33, which is your preferred mode of travel? Airplane. I actually like to fly. Flying does not scare me. I don't mind a long flight. I like to be in a business class or a first class if at all possible, because obviously it's way more comfortable, but I actually enjoy the plane, you know, the whole experience. Number 34, what is your best physical feature? I guess my hair. I actually finally like my hair. I had a lot of years where I did not like my hair. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, my hair started to get curly. And now I really love that I don't actually do anything to it, and it just does its own thing, and it feels like it matches my personality. So I guess my hair. Number 35, what's something you would never do? I think skydive. I'm not sure there would be any reason for me to ever skydive. I would scuba dive before I would skydive. I wouldn't bungee jump either. Any of those really high things that just don't seem necessary or particularly safe. Yeah, no. Let's see. Number 37. No, 35, skydive. 36. What inspires you? What inspires me? Travel and nature. Yeah, travel and nature. Number 37. What time do you go to bed? Oh, I would say 10:30 is mostly my bedtime. I'm more an early to bed and early to rise kind of girl than I am a night owl. Not that that was the question. 38. Is there something you cannot live without? Blue jeans or earplugs, I would say, are the two things. 39. What's the first thing you notice about other people? I would say their energy, kind of the vibe that I get from them, and their eyes. Number 40, what is your eye color? My eye color, I think, would be considered hazel. My eyes are pretty green, but they've got a decent amount of yellow in them, so I'm going to say hazel. 41, are you often sarcastic? No. 42, which type of movies do you watch most often? I would say rom-coms and dramas. 43, what's your idea of the perfect date? Perfect date. Perfect date. Hotel in a city. Yeah, hotel in a city. Maybe an afternoon movie and a nap in the room. Out to dinner at a really cool, delicious restaurant. Maybe strolling around, window shopping, walking, maybe going to a show, and then coming back and having room service. And sleeping in, and the bathrobe and all that, the bubble bath and all that. That's my idea of a perfect date. Number 44, where's the furthest you have ever been from home? Argentina, I believe. 45, what is your favorite fruit? Strawberries. 46, do you have any bad habits? Procrastinating. 47, what is your favorite thing to do when you have free time? I would say read. 48, which is your favorite piece of clothing? My favorite piece of clothing is either my black cashmere coat with the silk lining that I thrifted last year, or a pair of what we refer to in my family as Paris booties, which are booties that I bought in Paris about like in 2010 maybe, so a long time ago, when Matthew and I were there. And had I known how great they were going to be, I would have purchased 2 or 3 pair. They're still in good shape, but I wish I had more other colors or even the same color, you know, to keep wearing. Paris booties. 49, are you a dog person or a cat person? Dog, absolutely. 50, are you a good cook? No. 51, what's one dish that you can make the best? Grilled tuna and cheese sandwich. I'm actually really good at grilled cheese sandwiches of all varieties. So I make a good Reuben and good tuna and cheese and just a good grilled cheese. I also recently have started to make a shrimp scampi pasta that Greta actually loves. So I feel like I've done that enough times now that I'm pretty good at that one. So I would say that's in my repertoire now beyond tuna sandwiches. 52, what was your favorite TV show when you were a child? Brady Bunch. 53, what do you like about your life right now? Oh, I like a lot of things about my life right now. I would say I like having big kids. I like having adult kids. I loved having little kids, and there are days when I miss the little kid phase, but I really love having adult kids. My kids are really amazing, and I love spending time with them. And I love that we're at the stage where they're either just out of college or still in college, so they don't have their own lives and families yet that make it so that I can't see them often. They still all come home to my house, so I love that part of my life. 54, what was your first job? It was babysitting a little bit, but I really only babysat a handful of times because I didn't love babysitting. And so I would say my first job was at a snack bar at a swim club. 55, what is the most amazing thing you've ever seen? Childbirth. I am a doula. I'm trained as a doula. I don't practice as a doula, but I did go through doula training, and I have had the pleasure of being at several births that weren't my own children. And hands down, without question, childbirth is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. 56, what is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? Chocolate covered cricket. I was in London with my dad on that trip when I was in 3rd grade, and there was a man who had a monkey, and he was selling snacks, like kind of had this tray, and this monkey was sort of climbing all over him, and he had all these unusual chocolate dipped things, and a cricket was one of them, and we ate them, and we bought them and ate them, and it was crunchy, and I don't remember it being good, and I've never had another one since. 57, who has left a strong impression on you? Wow. 57, who has left a strong impression on you? I would say collectively, the women who I met and interacted with and had the pleasure of knowing at all the different 9 retreats that I attended, because we come into something like that not knowing anyone and having possibly some judgment based on just surface outside stuff. And then after a little bit of time, really getting to know the underlying human, when the layers are peeled back, it's just such a cool experience to get to know that we all have such universal fears and hopes and dreams and sorrows and sadnesses and joys. And so I think who has left the biggest impression on me, it's kind of all of those women collectively who I saw, just kind of their outer self initially, and then had the sincere honor of getting to know them, as we went through the retreat experience. And so, yeah, I would say those 9 sisters of mine have had the biggest impression on me. 58, who is the first person you call whenever something happens in your life? So other than family, I would say my 2 dearest friends, and that would be Jennifer or Beth, and they know who they are, and they are just literally there for me whenever. And so, yeah, Jennifer or Beth. Number 59, if you could change one bad habit of yours, what would it be? It would be interrupting people. I am aware of it, and I try to be very mindful of it in a conversation, and yet sometimes it is never meant to be rude. It is more meant to show that I'm sharing the excitement with the other person, and I'm so in the conversation that I can kind of finish their sentence or want to chime in before they're finished speaking. And I don't like that about myself at all. And so even just saying it out loud reminds me that it is something I really want to work on, because I believe I can change it. Number 60, are you a bathroom singer? No, actually I'm not at all. 61, do you get angry quickly? No. 62, do you prefer hanging out with many friends or a small group? Small group. 63, do you have any allergies? Seasonal really is it. Some pollen stuff that makes my nose itch. Do you have a garden? No, I have had gardens. I am a good garden starter, and then I kind of get overwhelmed by the weeds and the maintenance. I don't have a yard right now that would be conducive for a garden. I do have a basil plant and it is thriving. And so that's my garden at the moment. 65, do you have a tattoo? I do not have any tattoos. 66, what is your most embarrassing moment? Most embarrassing moment. I am not someone who is embarrassed easily, as you can tell by the fact that I'm showing up here answering these questions on YouTube for the entire world to see. I am not embarrassed easily. I can remember being embarrassed more as a younger person. But I'm honestly, I'm gonna have to think about that one. I don't get embarrassed easily. I don't have an answer for that one. Number 67, who is your celebrity crush? My celebrity crush, I'd say Bradley Cooper. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, so he's an easy one to say. 68, what is your star sign? Sagittarius. 69, how do you like spending your birthday? With my family, eating chocolate cake with chocolate icing. 70, what is your favorite candle scent? Either a sea salt candle, a scent that has sea salt in it. I had one ages ago from Terrain, which is an anthropology sister company. So sea salt that feels like the beach, like an ocean kind of breeze. That's my first choice, I think. And close second would be Volcano, which is the Capri Blue fragrance that is basically the anthro fragrance that anthro is usually burning. So I would say either something sea salt or Volcano. 31, how old were you when you got married? This is sort of a trick question. I have been married twice. I got married to Matthew, who I've been married to for 26 years. I got married to him when I was 30. And I was married very briefly to someone else from the time I was 25 until like 28. I should have known it wasn't ever going to work, and it didn't, and that is a good thing. And so Matthew and I have been married for, as I said, 26 years. Let's see. 72, how many oceans have you swam in? I think 5. 73, how many countries have you visited? I think we've had this conversation in my family, and I was just at one more, so I believe it's 11. 74, have you read the Harry Potter, Hunger Games, or Twilight series? I have only read the Twilight series all the way through. I have not read any Hunger Games. I think I've watched some of one of the movies, and we vowed as a family to watch Harry Potter. My kids have seen it and read the books. I have not. My husband has not. So we have watched the first 2. We are about to start the 3rd once everybody gets home. So Harry Potter, we are working our way through the movies, but Twilight's the only one I have read, and I actually enjoyed it. 75, would you rather have an American accent or a British? I guess British, if I had a choice. 76, did your mother go to college? Yes, she did. She went to Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. She and my dad both went there. They met while they were in college, and my sister also went there. So there's a lot of legacy at Allegheny. I did not go there. So it was too rainy for me. I picked somewhere else. 77, what's the best meal you've ever eaten? This is tough because I have had the sincere pleasure of eating a lot of really great meals. Because Matthew is a really good cook and we both like food, and he has been in the wine business a lot. And so food and dining has been a part of our lives. I would say though, the very best meal I have ever eaten, I'm going to go a little bit out of the box and say that it is either the chicken cheesesteak and chocolate milkshake that I had after Peter was born, or that like literally right after he was born, I was starving, and so that's what I had. Or kind of the hoagie, if you're from the East Coast, the hoagie sandwich and chips and Coke or some sort of soda that we would have when we were either packing to move or painting a room or unpacking after a move, kind of that work lunch where you finally break for lunch and you're so hungry. Those meals, I feel happy when I think of those meals because they always tasted so good because you're so tired and have been so busy. Okay, number 79. Are your grandparents still married? My grandparents are both deceased, and they were married to each other for their entire lives, married lives. They were married 51 or 52 years. Actually, my maternal grandparents were married 51 or 52 years. My paternal grandparents were not married, and they were divorced before I was born. Let's see, 80. Have you ever taken karate lessons? No, although I kind of would like to. And I remember saying a long time ago that I would rather be trained as a black belt than be someone who was like an ultra marathoner or a Ironman or anything like that. I find karate very fascinating. I just haven't ever taken it. 81, what language would you like to be fluent in? Hands down, easy question, French. I speak a little, but I am definitely not fluent. 82, do you spell the word, how do you spell the color gray? G-R-E-Y, G-R-A-Y. I spell it with an E. 83, do you know any triplets? I do not personally know triplets. I know one of a set of triplets. My son Peter has a friend who is one of a triplet. You know, he's one of triplets. I don't know how you say that. And so I don't know all three of them, but I do know someone who is a triplet. 84, do you prefer Titanic or The Notebook? The Notebook. 85, what's the nicest restaurant you've ever been to? Again, this is a topic that is, this is one that's not easy for me to pick. I would say there are two if I have to just pick off the top. And one is Le Bernardin in New York City. And that was one of the best meals I have ever had. Eric Ripert just blew my mind. And the other is Louis XV in Monte Carlo, which is an Alain Ducasse property that we went on our honeymoon. It was a very expensive meal that I would spend the money again, hands down in a minute. It was the most incredible experience dining I have ever had and absolutely delicious. So Le Bernardin and Louis XV. 86, what would your parents have named you if you were the opposite gender? I believe they would have named me Peter. My dad's name was Peter. He did not have any sons. My son is now named Peter. One of my sons is named Peter. My firstborn is named Peter because I like the name Peter and my dad didn't have any boys named Peter. So my guess is Peter, but I don't know that for sure. 87, if you have a nickname, what is it? When I was a kid, my nickname was Christy, spelled with a Y. No one really calls me Christy anymore. My mom sometimes does, and some people who know me from high school or before, but for the most part, I'm Kristen and have been for a very long time. Can you whistle? I can whistle just basic whistling. I cannot do like the really loud come here whistle. 89, do you eat breakfast every morning? Yes, I do. 90, have you ever seen Finding Nemo? No, I have not. And this is actually kind of an odd, funny question. When Henry was a baby, Greta and Peter were, young, and I went with Henry. We went to Sears, I think, to look for some new appliance. And Matthew decided he would take Greta and Peter to see Finding Nemo, which had just come out in theaters. And they made it through about the first 20 minutes of the movie, wide-eyed and terrified. And Matthew kind of looked at them as whatever horrible things were happening to Nemo's mother or whatever happens in the beginning. And he said, would you like to leave? And they were like, yeah, we would like to leave. So they've seen it since, but they did not finish watching it that day. And he felt terrible that he had taken them to this movie that was supposed to be, kid friendly and was actually terrifying. So I have not ever seen it. I'm not sure I need to see it. 91, where do you buy your jeans? Currently, I thrift most of my jeans, and currently they're mostly Levi's. 92, what's the last compliment you got? I think the last compliment I got was some really nice feedback on the reel that I posted on Instagram about me jumping in the fjord while we were in Norway. It was really high up on top of the sauna, and you could jump off the top and into the very cold fjord. And I did it, and my daughter captured it on video. And so I got some really nice comments and compliments over there. So I'd say that was my last compliment. 93, do you usually remember your dreams in the morning? Yes. 94, what's your favorite flavor of tea? Iced. I don't really drink hot tea ever, and I like just basic iced tea with lemon. I also like raspberry zinger and some of those iced, some of the berry flavors or lemon zinger, but I don't really drink hot tea. 95, what's your favorite flower? Again, I have two, hibiscus or hydrangea. And 96, can you ice skate? Yes, I haven't in years, but I have taken ice skating lessons and I do know how to ice skate. 97, what's your favorite dessert? What's my favorite dessert? I would say a warm brownie with vanilla ice cream or a warm chocolate chip cookie and a glass of milk, usually almond milk. 98, do you prefer whiskey or tequila? Whiskey, hands down, no question. 99, are you right or left-handed? I am left-handed. And 100, do you have a favorite piece of jewelry? I would say my wedding band is my favorite piece of jewelry, although my engagement ring is actually a Baume & Mercier watch from Matthew. And so I would say that is, it needs a battery right now or I would have it on. And I would say that is one of, my wedding band and my watch that was my engagement ring. It says, "Will you marry me?" on the back. Those are my favorite pieces of jewelry. Okay, that's 100. We're done. I hope that you feel like you know me a little bit better. I feel like I know me a little bit better after those answers. It was fun to, dive into some of those things. If you have any questions about, any of the things that I said or comments or whatever, let me know. And I'll keep giving some thought to my most embarrassing moment. I'll ask my family even, because I'm just not, I don't seem to embarrass very easily, or maybe I don't take risks that would be embarrassing. That could be it too. I'm not exactly sure. However, 100th episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. This is just a really fun outlet for me. And in addition to being fun, it is my sincere hope that what I share, when I'm not sharing just funny little tidbits about myself, that what I share is really, truly helpful for you with regards to getting dressed and loving how you look and feel in your clothing. And if there's anything I can do further, I do work one-on-one with women. Just let me know if you'd like to check out Style Therapy and have a chat about it. I'm here and I'm ready. Thank you so much. Have a really beautiful week, and I will see you next Friday. 100 episodes. Thanks.